The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
The Canucks are one of 3 NHL teams without a captain, and for their next choice, they might want to call the Alumni Association.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, happy hump day and welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks and a sports reporter for Daily Hive Vancouver. That guy is Kyle Bowen. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your live NFL bets all season long. Again, Kyle, the Canucks, they've traded a captain now twice in almost 3 calendar years. They remain without a captain, but when will they name a captain next, and who should that be? There's a long list of candidates, so let's go over some of the top choices on this episode of Locked On Canucks. Again, they could also call on the Alumni Association. A few former captains of the retirement. I think Henrik Sedinski can still play, man. I'm just saying. But curious for your take on that. I also want to talk about one young Canuck who is shockingly out of the lineup, why that is, what's next for that player. We'll also shout out to Cam Neely, former Canuck of the week. But first and foremost, Kyle Bowen, drinking the coffee, getting the workouts in. You're in the best shape of your life at 32 and a half years old. I'm proud of you. How you doing, brother?
I'm actually not. I gained that relationship weight starting 4.5 years ago. I used to be jacked, dude. I used to be sexy, one of the sexiest Findus ever. But, it is what it is. I'm comfortable and I'm happy. That's all that matters. Speaking of being comfortable, I'm comfortable, going the rest of the season, obviously, without a captain. And Trevor, not to throw a curveball to you, but I'm also even more comfortable having the Canucks not have a captain next season. For real. Because I'm leaning towards just giving it to Braden Coots if he deserves it after one season in the NHL next year. Like giving it to a new regime. Like, I don't want Pettersson being the captain. I don't want Tyler Myers being the captain with 1 year left on his deal next year. Like, I don't want the 5th best defenseman on the team or the 6th D-man on this team being the captain. I'm sorry. I don't want Connor Garland being the captain too. He's just too grumpy. Good player, all that stuff. I don't want anyone who's part of the old regime to be the captain. So, again, to hit you with the curveball, Trevor, and I'll throw another name in there, Tom Melander maybe, but next season, like, it's an audition for who's going to step up and be the leader of the core. And I guess it's a 2-part question. Like, am I stupid? And B, am I being disrespectful to Elias Pettersson by saying, I don't want this guy being the captain?
No, I feel like 99% of Canucks Nation would agree with you. Even when I had my article yesterday about the 9 options for next captain of the Vancouver Canucks. And it's such a long list because there's no obvious candidate. When I had Pettersson at the top of that list, and it wasn't necessarily in order, there was a lot of blowback. Like, I closed this article after reading number 1, or there's no way they can name Pettersson captain. And honestly, valid points after the whole contract debacle, after saying he wanted to make more money than William Nylander, after being at the center of a feud that effectively ruined this Canucks team.
Mm-hmm.
There's no surprise that people don't want Pettersson as the next captain. And probably we've talked about in this show before, every dayers know, I don't know if he really has the makeup to go to the media, answer questions after every loss, be that type of leader, right? I don't know, like you said, Kyle, I don't know if this team needs necessarily a big rah-rah vocal leader. I mean, this team has succeeded with captains like Naslund and Henrik Sedin who haven't fit that mold. But yeah, I agree. It probably shouldn't be Elias Pettersson. In fact, it should not be Elias Pettersson. Mm-hmm. But I just want to take a moment to say, like, we've come a long ways from when Bo Horvat was traded and he endorsed Elias Pettersson as the next captain of the Vancouver Canucks. And, we had those debates too in the early days of Locked On Canucks. Like, should it be Pettersson? Should it be Hughes? Should it be another candidate? And it was a pretty firm debate at the time. I think you and I were both kind of flip-flopping back and forth over who it should be in terms of the next captain of the Canucks. But I think at this point, it shouldn't be Elias Pettersson. Now, Kyle, I see where you're coming from in terms of letting another leader step up and lead this core into the future at some point here. I agree with that, and I think it doesn't make sense at this point to name a captain before the end of the season. But let me toss one name out to you. What are your thoughts on Brock Besser potentially being captain of the Vancouver Canucks?
No way. Too sensitive. The noise gets to him. No. Can't happen. He's part of the old regime too. He can be an accessory. He can be a good, I don't know, quote unquote glue guy, but you can make the argument that he isn't a glue guy based on, again, being the longest tenured Canuck and like everyone just like breaking apart and not wanting to be here. But I don't want Brock Besser being the captain too. No. It has to be a culture setter. It has to be a guy that can bring the boys together. It has to be a guy that, yeah, like everyone says the original things. Oh, he has to be comfortable with the media after a loss, blah, blah, blah. Dude, he needs to be comfortable with the team after a loss. He needs to be comfortable with the team when they lose 3 or 4 and like the fans are a little upset and like, there's angst in the nation. Like I need a guy like that. And I'm just convinced that nobody outside of Thatcher Demko is like, can handle the pressure from this old core. So no chance Brock Besser deserves a shot to be captain here. Like, sure, he wants to be in Vancouver. Great. Awesome. It was what, 7-year deal, whatever he signed. Thanks for staying here when everyone wanted to leave, but he can't handle adversity. Like, I'm not gonna say individually speaking, but as a core member of the team, like we've seen that core not be able to handle adversity. And again, it's like the same thing with Pettersson. I just don't want it. I just don't want it. How about this name though? Because the comments are going, and I have my thoughts on this too. Bouillon. Okay, Greener saying Bouillon is a born winner. He'd be a great captain eventually. He's too young, in my opinion. Same with Coots. I'm not really scared of the youth thing too much, but how about Bouillon?
When you were mentioning Coots and Willander, he was the guy I thought of. A guy that's good with his media availabilities. He's confident as well. I think he would be an excellent choice for captain at some point in the future. Of course, now is not the time. And Kyle, like we're kind of saying off the top, and it's the boring answer. You think about the Canucks' future captains, right? And when they should name one. I look at a team like the Arizona Coyotes or the Utah Mammoth, I suppose, that franchise. After they traded Oliver Ekman-Larsson, they went 3 seasons before they named Clayton Keller captain of their team. I got no issue with the Canucks doing the same thing here. Like, Kyle, we've talked about time and time again, every Dares know. Having the C on your chest doesn't mean a whole lot. Of course, it's an honor. But in terms of what goes on inside the locker room.
Trevor, especially like after what we saw, what Quinn Hughes did with the captaincy doesn't mean shit for the Vancouver Canucks. For real.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think you got to give this a couple of years to let it play out. It's so funny for me to see all the Tyler Myers love out there. Like, oh, give him the captaincy. I get that he's good with the media. I get that he's a veteran guy. I get that it'd be a cool honor for him. But that's a guy that might not even be around with the team next season, right? Like his no move clause converts to a no trade clause. You could conceivably see Tyler Myers being traded. In fact, I'd be a little surprised if Tyler Myers finished his contract with the Vancouver Canucks. So I think he's out. I mean, Kiefer Sherwood, if you extended him, like that would be an interesting option.
I like
but
that.
I don't see that happening either. I think he's probably out too. Philip Hronek's another potential candidate, mainly because Adam Foote went out of his way to name check him as a leader in the locker room. But again, this is a guy that has never spoken to the media.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the be all or end all, but I have a hard time seeing Philip Hronek as captain. I just think, like you said, and we've said at the top, let one of Willander, Coots, or a guy maybe they draft this year even, who knows, or Bouillon, let those guys figure out who the next captain of this team should be. Don't rush this one. The Canucks have already had some bad voodoo with their last couple of captains, trading them away in relatively short succession after naming them captain. Let's avoid any of that drama and just wait for the right guy to come along. Like with the San Jose Sharks right now, I mean, I know they had Logan Couture as captain. He sat out with injury before officially announcing his retirement. So now they're captain list, but they've effectively haven't had a captain for a couple seasons. It's surely going to be Macklin Celebrini. Let that kind of situation arise here at the Vancouver Canucks, where it becomes a little bit more clear who's going to be named captain, as this new young core progresses along.
Yeah, and no, exactly. Hronek, like you just want him to be. You want Hronek to continue to do what he's been doing, and that's like, A, not talking to the media, and B, just playing extremely well. And as if he would decline being the captain. No, 100%. Anyways, look at this comment. Matt Friesen saying no one gets to see until Braden Coots. We need a Canadian to be the captain. These young kids are more about their home country. I'm kind of there now, man. Like grew up on South Park and Don Cherry. I'm sorry, but I want a Canadian captain on this team. Look how badly Horvat wants to stay here, and now that's all revisionist history, and we appreciate it so much more. But I want to go down that route, and I just want somebody to be proud of it and to put like some respect on that letter, because Quinn Hughes on the ice, yeah, they're the hardest working player, doing his thing, in the offseason, working hard, blah, blah, blah. But the way it ended with him as captaincy, I feel like there's a little bit of a stain or a bad taste in my mouth with that letter. And you just need to be careful and give it to the right person. Now, you did bring up Kiefer Sherwood too, Trevor. If this guy had more term on his deal, based on him also being a community member, like he likes being out and about and going to the hospitals, like he's front and center, being personable. Like he wouldn't be a bad choice. Like just before like a Braden Coots would get it if, again, Kiefer Sherwood had term on his deal. Now I heard Rick Dollywall talk today about how they got to ship him. Teams are still interested in him, even though he has 1 goal in 13 games. The Canucks don't want to go past $3.5 million. So yeah, the writing is on the wall for Kiefer Sherwood not to be a Canuck long-term, but he would have been, dare I say, like a bit of an obvious choice for me before like the next young guy gets it. Cause no, he seems like he's grateful to be on this team, and that's the start.
Yeah, 100%. You want guys that want to be here, that want to be Vancouver Canucks, that exemplify hard work. And Kiefer Sherwood is the epitome of that, right? I mean, working his ass off through the minors, being rejected by other NHL teams. I think if you were going to choose a veteran on this team, and if Kiefer Sherwood was going to stick around past this season, I agree with you, Kyle. I think he'd be the obvious choice. Keep hitting us up in the comments. Let us know, who do you think should be the Canucks' next captain? There's no wrong answers here, except for pretty much all of them. On the other side, let's talk more about one young Canuck who is just inexplicably out of the lineup right now. I was digging into some numbers on him and what's next for this player. That's all coming up next year on Locked On Canucks. All right, before we get back to it, let's shout out our friends over at Monarch Money, baby. You know the deal. The holidays are amazing, but they can also get overwhelming fast. Travels, gifts, parties, the year-end expenses. It's all piling up for me, man. And it's really easy to lose track of money this time of year. And that's exactly why Monarch has become such a game changer for me. If you want to keep your finances under control this holiday season, you need to be using Monarch. Don't just listen to me. Listen to the Wall Street Journal, because Monarch has been rated Wall Street Journal's best budgeting app of 2025. Monarch is an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, simple dashboard. And man, oh man, when Kyle and I have the Locked On Canucks Christmas party, what do you think we're going? You think we're going to see some strippers and drink beer? No, man, we're budgeting, man. Come on, and we're whipping out the Monarch, boom, bam, making sure we got happy wives and happy lives. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks for you. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarch.com in your browser for half off of your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code LOCKEDONNHL. All right, now let's go shout out our friends over at Doer, baby. The reason I got a smile on my face here on Hump Day isn't the Vancouver Canucks. It's the fact that I'm rocking the Doer jeans. Not only does Doer have jeans, but they also got shirts, other kind of pants. But man, oh man, let me just tell you, these are the world's most comfortable pants. And don't take my word for it. That's what they say on the website, baby. And I know from wearing these pants, they are the best. These jeans have 5 times the stretch of traditional denim. If the fabric's so stretchy, sometimes I even forget I'm wearing pants, okay? And that's a powerful feeling, because no one wants to wear pants unless they're from Doer. And it's time for you to experience the comfort of Doer as well. Treat yourself or your friends and family this holiday season. Check out Doer here in Vancouver at 1757 West 4th Avenue. And don't forget, mention our promo code Locked On Canucks in store to get 15% off your first order. You can get that same 15% off your first order by going to duer.ca/LockedOnCanucks. Again, for 15% off, check them out, duer.ca/LockedOnCanucks.
Okay, we back doing this, talking about your Vancouver Canucks. Let us know in the comments, who's the next captain of your favorite hockey team, and we'll touch on that throughout the episode, just like right now. James Moore is saying Garland is the new captain. I called this guy grumpy like 10 minutes ago. Trevor didn't let you talk much on that. I feel like maybe like months ago, I'd be more open to something like this if, again, we know Quinn Hughes is out the door, but I don't know, man. I don't know if it's the American I don't know. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that. But again, just like the grunt, I don't know if he could handle it, to be honest, man. He's another one of those guys where it's like Corona, just let him play. Let him be like the silent leader where it's like hardworking guy, good guy in the room, but not have to deal with the microphones. Because I feel like I don't know if the communication skills would bleed over to, I don't know, just a calmer environment in the nation when, again, the Canucks lose 3 of 4.
I honestly don't think he's a terrible choice for captain necessarily. I just kind of like we said at the top, and every dayers they know this one by now, but just let things play out over the next season and change, and name a captain when the time's right. Don't force feed anyone the captaincy this season. I would say at earliest you decide heading into the 2026-27 season. And if Garland's still around, I think he's a viable option, right? You get a guy who's good in the community as well. I think that's an important thing that's been lacking on the Vancouver Canucks. Garland has been out there in the community here. I don't mind that choice for captain. But again, let it play out. Also in the comments, shout out to Christopher Ramsey in the comments, DeBrusk is an option. That was one of the guys that I did mention in my article. They want the good vibes guy to be captain. DeBrusk would be the guy for that. But it's not a choice I'm in love with. And here's the transition, Kyle. How about Tyler Gerbov in the comments saying Raty for captain? How about Raty for the lineup, Kyle? What is going on with Aatu Raty right now? I mean, Drew O'Connor just started playing center 5 minutes ago. Yes, I know he's played it throughout his hockey career at points. But Aatu Raty sitting on the sidelines, it boggles my mind. This isn't like he's been porous defensively by any means. He's been passable defensively for sure. He's great in the faceoff dot. And Kyle, this blew my mind this morning when I was, reading through some stats and digging into Aatu Raty and Vasili Podkolzin in particular. Aatu Raty leads this Canucks team in 5-on-5 points this season. He leads the Canucks team in 5-on-5 points. Not Elias Pettersson, not Quinn Hughes, not Brock Besser, not Connor Garland, not Jake DeBrusk, not Kiefer Sherwood. Aatu Raty leads his team with 11 even strength points so far this season. He's tied with Philip Pronik, but of course he's played about half the ice time. So Kyle, answer me this. What are your theories as to why Aatu Raty can't get into this Canucks lineup right now?
Adam Foote's a bad coach. No, I feel like, I don't know, this season, watching Canucks games has been different because it's been full of angst. So I feel as if, admittingly so, my eye test may not be 100% accurate. So I may need the data to back up why Foote may be doing this, because I feel like Aatu Raty has been better than Evander Kane, or as good as Evander Kane, for real. More useful. It's not I know Kane has 16 points in 30 games or whatever, 32 games, but he doesn't score yesterday unless FanDuel and the refs aren't working together. And he doesn't hit anything. There's no physicality. He doesn't defend no teammates. So wouldn't you want the guy who wins faceoffs and also has the most 5-on-5 points on the team? Wouldn't you? So I guess we have to go to the data. I don't know if you have the stats in front of you, but is there an obvious reason why Aatu Raty isn't playing? Is he a defensive liability? Should we just run the segment? Okay, this is Canucksitology. Look up what cytology means, and you'll know why this is about the data behind, the whales that play hockey for us. Yeah, so it's like Aatu Raty, one of the worst defensive players on the team, Trevor?
No, yeah, he's definitely not. Like, even just by NHL metrics, he's a below average player offensively, and that makes sense. Even though he leads the Canucks team in even strength points. What a world we're living in, man. But no, his defensive play's been fine, man. Like, there's been certain moments in games. I think in the Flames home game a couple weeks back where he was kind of caught in no man's land on one of the Flames goals. But man, overall, this guy's been fine defensively. He really has been. And in some games playing up against tougher competition as well. I think it's twofold. I think, I don't know. I'm trying to find the rationale here. It does boil down to Adam Foote. I think he likes Hassan's speed in the lineup. I think he likes David Kampf's penalty killing ability in the lineup. And I think he loves himself Drew O'Connor and Evander Kane more than Aatu Raty. I mean, look, maybe I'll ask you this, Kyle. I think you answered it. Assuming that Evander Kane isn't an option to come out of the lineup, he should be. But let's say he's not because Adam Foote plays the wheels off this guy. Evander Kane just doesn't leave the ice during his shifts. Like, who's the next obvious guy to come out of the lineup right now for Aatu Raty?
Yeah.
Like, for me, it was David Kampf, but I get the argument about him being a good penalty killer because he has helped out in that area. Yeah, aside from that, it's probably like a Liam Ogren or a Linus Karlsson.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, but Karlsson's not going anywhere.
No. It's probably, and Ogren played like 7-ish minutes in the last game. I know he scored, but
it's probably him, to be honest. Yeah. It's probably him. I wonder if this gets so bad that Aatu Raty asked for a trade. And like, I'm a little confused that Raty's name was brought up in trade rumors for Marco Rossi alongside like a first-round pick in Artur Shelovs. But I don't think it's a good look for the Canucks to not play this guy, knowing that his name was connected in like a trade where like Bill Guerin wanted a player supposedly in Aatu Raty, and then fast forward months later, it's like, okay, you can't have Aatu Raty because we need him warming up the seats upstairs and being a healthy scratch, but you can have Quinn Hughes. It's kind of confusing. Do you think they're trying to like prop up Evander Kane's numbers and stuff, or like make Drew O'Connor look better? I don't know. Because dude, isn't winning faceoffs like important to some extent, and like being like the leader in even strength points? And fast forward like 2.5 weeks ago, or like less than 2 weeks ago. I'm sorry. Like one of the best individual performances this season from a Canuck was Aatu Raty against who? Oh yeah, Quinn Hughes' Minnesota Wild.
Yeah, so 100%.
Yeah, I'm confused. Trevor, answer me that. Let's just end off this segment with that. Like, is Aatu Raty going to ask for a trade?
I don't think so. But if it keeps going this way, I wouldn't be surprised, right? Like you said, his name's already been floated in trade rumors. Like, I don't think the Canucks want to get rid of this guy. I just think they were willing to get rid of him for Marco Rossi in a deal, right? But look, I think this has to end at some point here, right? Especially if he sits in the next game against the New York Islanders. I know he's played them before already, but that's the team that drafted you. That game probably means something to Aatu Raty. If he sits in that game, then I think that could spur something in terms of maybe Aatu Raty looks for other opportunities, right? But for me, this season's about rebuilding, right? Like, who cares if David Kampf's propping up the penalty kill a bit? He has 0 points in 13 games. There's 0 bottom line offensively. You're sitting him for the guy who leads this team in even strength points? Make it make sense to me. This isn't a team that's fighting for a playoff spot here, goddammit. I mean, look, it is a mind-boggling situation with Aatu Raty. And, Pettersson, we expect him back soon. When Pettersson's back, just based on what the Canucks are, roll your centers as Pettersson, Rossi, Raty, and Sasson. Like, maybe play Bluger a bit if you're trying to trade him. But, like, Kampf and Bluger don't need to be a part of this team. This team doesn't need guys in their 30s who are responsible defensively and can win faceoffs. Like, just let Pettersson, Rossi, Raty, and Sasson, if they're all healthy, figure it out at the NHL level. And Kampf and Bluger, trade them for what you can get, if you can get anything for them, right? Like, it doesn't make sense to sit Aatu Raty at this point. It really doesn't.
Yeah, something's up with like Adam Foote, man. I think he's not seeing it. All that being said, I mean, I don't know if we should run Canucksitology again, but I read a stat. Jeff Patterson maybe tweeted it out. The Canucks, I want to say maybe in their last 10 games are fourth in the league when it comes to least shots against. So their defense is tightening up in the 10 games. They're probably averaging other teams are probably averaging 25 shots per game. And Adam Foote is probably getting a little horny off that and doesn't want to change the lineup. And the weird thing about this is I'm pretty sure late in that game against Buffalo, was Aatu Raty playing that game? I'm pretty sure he was.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
It's this guy's taking faceoffs at the end of the game to help you catch up or win the game. And Quinn Hughes' last game as a Vancouver Canuck, pay-per-view television, dramatic television, must-see TV. He's on the ice with a minute and change left to win a faceoff, and then he's a scratch. I'm just a little confusing, but all in all, again, let us know in the comments. Do you think I'd be kind of pissed if Aatu Raty asked for a trade? I would, because he was kind of a big piece in that Horvat trade. It was Hronek and Horvat. Hronek and Raty, two kind of unproven guys. I mean, Hronek was having a good season and a half before he got traded for Horvat, who was on fire. And look at him now. I know he's injured right now, but Horvat was I'm not going to say a superstar, but I would use the word star player. So I want Raty to pan out.
Yeah, absolutely. Get Aatu Raty back in the lineup. I mean, the dude had 3 points or 5 even string points in 5 games before sitting as a healthy scratch for the last 2. Just doesn't make any sense. Speaking of things that don't make sense, let's shout out to Cam Neely, former Canuck of the week. I can't believe this guy's still around. That's coming up along with some of your comments as we wrap up here on Locked On Canucks. All right, let's shout out our friends over at FanDuel. FanDuel, a home of NFL live betting. NFL Sundays, they move fast. One big play and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so damn exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. And man, oh man, just checking out FanDuel right now for the NHL odds tonight. Let's see, the Florida Panthers climbing back in the race against the Los Angeles Kings tonight. Give me the Florida Panthers to get a goal and a half over the Kings. That's plus 172. The Detroit Red Wings just climbing up the standings right now. They didn't even need Quinn Hughes. Look at that. They're favored over the Utah Mammoth. And again, for this weekend, Kyle, I can't even remember who your Green Bay Packers playing this weekend, bud.
Chicago Bears, and it's a must-win game.
Woo! Oh, yeah. I got a dad at my kid's school who's always rocks his Bears jersey. And I told him I'm rooting for your Bears this weekend. So go Bears, go. What? If you're betting on sports, go check out FanDuel.com. Kyle, that's a grumpy face. Go check out FanDuel.com and download the FanDuel app today.
Boom, bam, shout FanDuel. Okay, we back doing this, talking about your Vancouver Canucks. Hit the like button, support the show. Christmas next week. I don't know if this episode gets 50 likes, I'll spend an extra $50 on my girlfriend. Why not? Trevor, you like that one?
That's wow.
That's marketing.
That's bold, man. That's bold. I'm gonna hold you to that, and I'll see. Let's get the video to 50 likes first.
Yeah,
and then I'll make sure I hold you accountable to that, bud. There you go.
Spread love, man. Let's go, man.
Spread love. I still have not shopped my wife yet, and we're 8 days out till Christmas. So the online shopping, I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah,
I'm in trouble, man. I'm in trouble.
Trevor, come on, get her a nice jacket. You know.
No, I had a thoughtful idea that I think would hit, but I actually gotta put in the work to pull it off. And it's not buying 5 candles this time. I've learned from that mistake. Speaking of mistakes, why did the Canucks give up on this guy? Thought of who I'm talking about here on the Cam Neely, former Canuck of the week. All right, let's shout out someone from the Mike Gillis era, someone who played for the Willie D Vancouver Canucks. Do you know who it is?
Brendan Gaunce.
Yeah, there you go, buddy. Brendan Gaunce. Shout out to Brendan Gaunce, still floating around in the NHL. Not only that, he's with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Picked up an assist last night in an overtime win. Columbus overtime win over the Anaheim Ducks. Has 1 goal, 4 points in 12 games this season. Kyle, he's like us. He's in his 30s, man. He's still out there grinding, still out there collecting an NHL paycheck. the former first-round pick that, of course, did not pan out with the Vancouver Canucks, and drafted one spot ahead, or sorry, it was about 3 or 4 spots ahead of Tanner Pearson, I believe, in the 2012 draft. But regardless, just want to give a quick shout out to Brendan Gaunce, man. Still making his NHL dreams happen at the age of 31, going to be 32 here in March. He has played with, Boston, Columbus, Minnesota, and went back to Columbus this season. So he's bounced around. He even won a Swedish Elite League title with Vaxjo, the old team of Elias Pettersson there. So yeah, just shout out to Brendan Gaunce, man. I always like seeing former Canucks succeed, especially one who's like Kiefer Sherwood, just scrapped and clawed his way through the NHL, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna talk more about Brendan Gaunce, but this is why you go out and go get Quinn Hughes if you're the Minnesota Wild, right? And you're not afraid of dishing out a first-round pick, like, you know what I'm saying? Like a late first-round pick. Can't really hold on too tight to those things. When again, not every day, like generational guys available, for real. And that's why I do question, like, and maybe we do need to get the Devils guy on, or just even like the Locked On Detroit guy on. Assuming I have never watched Locked On Detroit, but assuming it's a dude. Because Detroit seemingly was like too cheap to go all in on Quinn Hughes. And I get it, like Edvinsson, good player, blah, blah, blah. This guy, good player, but it's like Quinn Hughes, man. You gotta go all the way in. Anyways, can we get to some comments? Why not? NGK is saying Coots is playing on the second line right now in an exhibition game against Sweden at 4:00. So I guess in a couple hours. I guess we're here. I mean, I haven't really like been in love with the World Hockey Junior Championships in like a decade plus, maybe. Like I've seen it every now and then, but before it used to be like must see for me.
Dude, it's a holiday tradition, man. What kind of Canadian are you?
Okay, Trevor, I'm gonna clip that. I'm gonna put that on TikTok. Okay, for real, your career is over. No, but this, like, I think this time I am, because Braden Coots a premier player on that Team Canada team, and I'm curious to see if he can actually like really, 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 really excel.
Yeah, look, he's on a pretty good Canada team that's, had some disappointments in recent years at the World Juniors. And I think it's exciting just to see a Canuck be a part of it. Kyle, like you said, there haven't been many Canuck prospects who have played big roles at the Canada World Junior team. Like, I know Sori Mini was there last year, but he was more of a depth player for that team. There haven't been like was Cody Hodgson the last one? Am I missing something there?
No, you're
right?
not.
Like, there have not been a Canucks prospect who have been stars for Team Canada World Juniors. It feels like in quite some time. And Braden Coots has the ability to do that this year. So, I'm super excited to watch him at the World Juniors this year, along with Wilson Bjork and Vasili Podkolzin.
What did he say? Wait, can we? That actually reminds me of something. Can we run the segment again?
I don't want to say goodbye.
I mean, everyone is talking about it. Canucks former player of the week, part 2 on today's episode, Vasili Podkolzin. I mean, 9 goals, 16 points. I know he's playing with Draisaitl. He's got the tap-ins. Like the trickle-down effect is there and all. But I'm not going to front. I mean, the Oilers in recent history have like played so much meaningful hockey. I feel as if they're not going to waste a lot of their breath putting players on a pedestal that don't really deserve it. And that fan base, including my cousin who's a diehard Oilers fan, like they just love Vasili Podkolzin because he's always smiling and his work ethic is unbelievable. And, isn't it ironic, Trevor, how recently Jim Rutherford and Patrick Allvin have touched on, oh yeah, we need, we want players that want to be here and set a new culture and all that stuff. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure Vasili Podkolzin is way more of a culture guy than Evander Kane. And rumor has it Evander Kane is not even part of any group chats with Vancouver Canucks players. So, like, that one hurts too, man, Trevor. That one really hurts. Again, Vasili Podkolzin on any other team, maybe he's a 20-point guy, right? Maybe he's a 25-point guy. But right now he's paced for 40 points, and at least he's a hard-working guy that brings some, like, smiles into the room. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, like, the Vancouver Canucks over the last 2 years, prior to Quinn Hughes and JT Miller leaving, like I know we on a 2-game winning streak and vibes seem to be right now, but it's been a depressing group to follow. And it's probably been just as depressing in that room.
Yeah, it was a move that we ripped at the time, and rightly so. It didn't make a lot of sense. And look, I've seen some talk online about like, oh, like who cares about Podkolzin? Like he wouldn't be putting up the same points if he didn't play with Draisaitl. But that's not the freaking point. The point is that they traded a 4th round pick away for Podkolzin at a time when, they completely misjudged where this team was headed. Oh, yeah, and they took that same 4th round pick, and then they traded it back to Edmonton for Evander Kane. What? And at the time, right?
No,
Part of the reason they traded Podkolzin. Go ahead. Go.
Sorry. Helping the Oilers out, but not
helping the Oilers out, yeah.
But taking in the salary, Trevor, of Evander Kane. Sorry, cut you off, brother.
Yeah, and just before they traded Podkolzin in 2024, like part of the reason they traded him is because they had to sign Danton Heinen and Daniel Sprong. What? I watched Danton Heinen score his first goal of the season last night against the Edmonton Oilers. He's been playing in the AHL for most of the season.
Yeah,
these are the guys that you chose ahead of Vasili Podkolzin. Daniel Sprong's in the KHL. Like, just what a dumb move by this organization to give up on Vasili Podkolzin. And yeah, sure. Maybe he doesn't have 9 goals and 16 points on this Canucks team, but he's a good middle six player who works his ass off. Those are the kind of players you want in this team, especially at the age he's at right now. So it's a head scratch decision by the Canucks. I refuse to forgive him for it. I didn't love the move at the time, but I kind of felt like it was he's not going to amount to much anyways. But seeing what the Canucks did after that move, it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
And Trevor, 106 hits. Did Draisaitl tell him to hit all those players? I don't think so. Anyways, last comment. And again, we've been open about our, like, Podkolzin's a 20-point guy on most teams, 30-point guy, whatever. Like, I'm not saying he's the greatest player ever, but like we need guys like that. And look at James Moore saying, we gave up on Pods too fast. If we repeat it with Raty, we're idiots. Dude, this Canucks team has been so bad over the last 9-10 years. And just giving up on like 22-year-olds and 23-year-olds for Evander Kane, Danton Heinen, and Daniel Sprong is just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous, man. And on the other end of the spectrum, it's like they do trade 4th-round picks for guys like Lucas Reichel and stuff, which, again, like maybe balances it all out. But I just want hardworking guys. Like, that's how you start the culture. And it's the game's hockey. I know that you got to score to win, but at the bare minimum, like, having guys that drag you into the fight, Podkolzin has a little bit of that because he's always out there just running around. It's a good thing, bro.
Yeah, 100%. And NGK with the final comment, they drafted Podkolzin over Boldy. That's how much they loved him. Yeah, that was a blunder at the time. Shout out to Jason Bochford. He was right on that. Speaking of Jason Bochford, one thing I want to touch on tomorrow, Kyle. So the Canucks finally listened to Jason Bochford. Other topics on my mind for tomorrow or Friday. Who's going to be traded next from this Vancouver Canucks team? Stay tuned for all that here on Locked On Canucks. But for now, we got to get out of here. Appreciate you for tuning in on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Helps us out a lot on the podcast side. Go follow us. Leave a 5-star review. I'm Trevor Beggs. That guy's Kyle Bowen. And you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.